Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I'm your host, Rabina Rastaban, aka the Realist Astrologer. And today I'm going to get into the natal chart of Janet Jackson, since she's recently been in the news, dealing with her recent split from Wissam Al Mana. So let me just get into this real quick. So this is going to be a two-part video because I don't want it, each part to be too long. Now, Janet Jackson was born on May 16, 1966. Now, her birth time has not been verified, but according to AstroTheme, they have her rising sign as Scorpio, and they may be right. Me and my fellow astrology female friends, we were discussing this on our Moon Mondays episode, the Cosmic Council blog talk radio show, and we all concurred that, yeah, Scorpio rising does fit her rather well. So, as I said, she was born May 16, 1966. That makes her a Taurus. Her sun is at the 25th degree of Taurus. It's conjoined to her North Node at the 25th degree of Taurus. So both her sun and North Node are in the same degree. So this deals with her strong artistic expression through music and making loads of money. So making a lot of money is her birthright in this lifetime due to that North Node at the 25th degree of Taurus. Now her sun and North Node are conjoined to the fixed star Algol, which brings, according to the definition, female passion and intensity. Janet, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, has her sun and North Node in sextile to Chiron and Saturn in Pisces, which is about her mega stardom, being a great performer, and her singing and acting career. It also points to Papa Joe's influence, for without him, all of those Jackson kids would not be where they're at today. So he might have been an abusive asshole, as evidenced by Saturn conjoined to Chiron, that could deal with an uncompromising father who was tyrannical. Also, her Saturn is in semi-square to Mercury. That can deal with basically like Joe saying, get out there and sing, damn it, because her Mercury's in Taurus. That also denotes him trying to control her mind as well. Now, Saturn is also contra-parallel to her moon, and that can produce a father who was not nurturing and who was very controlling, especially with respect to the women in the family, and also very controlling of the household in general. Saturn is also contra-parallel to her Venus, which reinforces its theme. And as a result of Saturn contra-parallel to Venus, she is apt to enter into relationships that are more like business transactions. And she's prone to get with men who act as father figures, but who may not necessarily love her. Now, Wissam was born on January 1st, 1975, and while he may be younger than Janet, he's a Capricorn, and Capricorns are known to project that fatherly influence, which she craves. South Node is at the 25th degree of Scorpio. That speaks of her highly sexual nature, but also her being very secretive, because Scorpio is one of those secret signs that like to keep things undercover. So in this lifetime, she is to accumulate money of her own merit, per that North Node in Taurus, and she has. But getting with Wissam, she's basically living through her South Node in Scorpio, which is what she's not supposed to be doing. So I'm seeing on Facebook, in particular, I'm seeing quite a few women saying, "Go Janet, yeah, you get that money or whatever. You were smart and all this stuff, and that was a smart business move or whatever." But spiritually, that was not something that was really conducive to her growth. Spiritually, that is. Financially, yes. Now, her South Node, conjoined to Neptune, also speaks of her being born in a very prominent family of performers or artists. And her moon is conjoined to Venus, which reinforces the theme of being in a family of artists or performers. However, this moon-Venus conjunction is in Aries, which gives her a strong desire to make money as a solo artist, independent of her family's influence, which she definitely has. Now, one of her earliest mega hits was Control. And that was one of my favorite songs of hers, and I love the video because she really gets down in that video. But that speaks of that Venus conjoined to the moon in Aries persona, her trying to get control, her trying to be independent of her family. Now, that moon-Venus conjunction also deals with her highly sexual songs and her highly sexual personality. Also, that South Node conjoined to Neptune reinforces the theme of a high degree of secrecy, because Neptune deals with secrecy, as well as that South Node being at the 25th degree, because that breaks down to 7, and that's Neptune energy. And then Neptune's at the 20th degree, of Scorpio, which compounds that secrecy because 20 can be very secretive as well. 20 can also harbor or have a hidden agenda. Now, this Venus, Moon, and Aries combo is in quincunx to Uranus and Pluto in Virgo, which is the aspect that came into play when she married Wissam and moved to his country. Now, with the quincunx to Pluto and Uranus in Virgo, it took some time for her to adjust to that new way of life. Virgo is about integration, and Venus deals with relationships and also money. Now, the Moon deals with where you reside, your home, your country. Uranus and Pluto are conjoined to the asteroid Sisyphus, which can deal with a constant uphill battle or struggle to assimilate into a new way of life to no avail. So Janet basically couldn't handle the strict and overbearing rules of that society, and it could also point to Wissam's demands for Janet to be subservient. Virgo is about subservience. So with Janet being such a mega star, her being a Taurus and having that stellium in Taurus, it really makes her stubborn. So even though, she might have came to this relationship with love and pure intentions, just trying to assimilate into that society and be submissive, she couldn't do it after a while. Hence her leaving right at the 5-year mark, that golden 5-year mark, which is the number of years stipulated by the prenuptial agreement that they signed, that gives her entitlement to 500 million of Wissam's loot. So, like I said, even if she went into this marriage with pure intentions, it was hard for her to assimilate. However, with that prenuptial agreement, she makes out rather well, getting $500 million of his money. However, like I said, her South Node is in Scorpio, which deals with other people's money. So that shows that she's supposed to try to move away from parasitic tendencies or try to move away from being dependent upon others for money, including a husband. Now, I mentioned love, but Uranus is parallel to the fixed star Bellatrix, which is about having a hidden agenda or ulterior motives. It can also deal with getting money through backdoor approaches. Her Mercury is in Taurus, and Mercury in Taurus can deal with having money on the mind all the time, and that's in trine to Uranus and Virgo. Now, Mercury in Taurus also deals with her songwriting ability and also her singing ability as well. Now, her Mars is opposing Neptune, and that can speak of making sacrifices for the sake of getting a lot of money. So again, going back to her Neptune, conjoined to her South Node in Scorpio, Scorpio deals with other people's money, including your spouse's money. The 21st degree of Taurus, which Mars is at, can produce a boatload of cash. Actually, Mars in Taurus just makes you very hungry for money. Now, Mars is conjoined to the asteroid Toro, which can bring problems with the manner in which money is obtained. It can also deal with attracting abusive men or men who are just out for your money. Hence her tumultuous marriage to Renee Elizondo. Now, he was reportedly emotionally abusive to her, and he reportedly stole some of her money or embezzled some of her money. He was also her manager, I believe, or something. He was, had his hands in her pockets. Mars conjunct Toro opposition Neptune can deal with, especially when Mars is in Taurus, can deal with a man that gets with you to get your money. Neptune can deal with theft. Now, the 25th degree of Taurus, her sun being at the 25th degree of Taurus, can deal with a husband who has ulterior motives, and for him, the marriage is a business deal. A lot of times with the 25th degree, there's something that the person is trying to hide. And also, it makes the person very analytical as well. Now, the sun in a woman's chart can deal with the type of husband that she attracts. So, Mars opposition Neptune, with Mars conjoined to Toro, could deal with a husband who uses his wife as a beard. Jermaine Dupri comes to mind when I think about a husband or a man using Janet Jackson as a beard. It's been reported that Jermaine Dupri is gay, and he allegedly molested those boys from Criss Cross that he was managing. That hasn't been confirmed, but basically there's allegations about that. Now, I haven't looked at Jermaine Dupri's chart to really see if he has the potential to commit those type of acts, but he is kind of suspect if you ask me. As well as Renee Elizondo. Now, he was a dancer, Renee. Now, that can make a guy kind of suspect. Not saying that all men who dance are bisexual or down low or whatever. I'm not saying that at all. But you do gotta, watch those men who are a little, fluid when it comes to their body and stuff like that. A lot of times they might be fluid with their sexuality. So, also, look at Wissam. I'm not putting it past Wissam to be down low. And when I look at his chart, which I'm going to get into in part 2 of this 2-part series, I'm seeing some signs of him being possibly down low. So I'm going to get into that in part 2. So with Mars opposition Neptune, a woman can attract men who are either A, confused about their sexuality, B, they have a lot to hide when it comes to their sexuality, or C, they just might be gay and they're using a woman as a cover. Think about James DeBarge too. That was the first guy she married, and she married him secretly. Janet Jackson had so many things that she wants to keep secret, and it's justifiably so, but because she's a very public person in terms of her career. However, even her relationships have been very secretive. James DeBarge, he might be suspect too. Just look at him from back in the day. Now, he was always my favorite, DeBarge, because I thought that he was the cutest, and I love that slick back ponytail he had. But he's kind of suspect too. And we know that Janet Jackson likes those pretty boys, and sometimes those pretty boys can be more prone to being down low. Not trying to discriminate, but it is what it is. Also, that Mars opposition Neptune can deal with her attracting parasitic men, especially since Neptune is in Scorpio. Now, Venus in Aries is challenging for relationships, but when Venus and the Moon are together in Aries, there's a high chance of domestic disturbance. Also, for a very disharmonious living situation. So this conjunction alone brings challenges with living with your partner on a daily basis, but this conjunction is in quincunx to Uranus and Pluto and Virgo, which compounds these problems, especially with respect to the ins and outs of being in a relationship on a daily basis. Now, with this aspect configuration, once Janet starts living with a man, it all goes downhill from there, because either she will find a million things to gripe about, or her man will, or they both will. She really needs to be in a relationship where she lives apart from her man, basically. This aspect configuration also deals with Janet's weight issues. For Venus conjoined to the Moon in Aries can lead to impulsive eating. Janet puts on a lot of weight when she's in her downtime. And in the process, her partners begin to criticize her, that's that Virgo influence, and berate her for getting heavy. This quincunx between the Moon, Venus, and Aries, and Uranus, Pluto, and Virgo is all about the exercise and maintenance that is needed whenever Janet has to go on tour or make a new album. So this concludes part 1 of this 2-part series on Janet Jackson and her current split from Wissam. Now, stay tuned for part 2, because I'm going to go deeper into this situation. I'm going to discuss the compatibility between Janet and Wissam, and I'm going to discuss Janet's current transits and progressions that she's currently dealing with. Also, just think about the rumors about Janet having that daughter way back in the day, I believe with James DeBarge, and where she gave that daughter to Rebe Jackson to raise or whatever. All of that speculation. But when I look at Janet's chart and I see the high level of secrecy, I'm like, I don't think that rumor is too far-fetched. And I seen a picture of the female, and she looks very much like Janet. So we're going to get deeper into this with part 2. Now, if you would like a reading, you could go to my website at rabina.com and just click order a reading at the top. Peace and many blessings. Stay tuned for part 2.